What is going on? Two amateurs playing disc. That's not what we're doing right now. Rebecca, Minnick, and AceBabiee's
Ace baby.
2024 Disc Golf Adventures. This is, I guess, technically part 3 of the last couple months.
Yeah, so this is episode 9, but this is part 3, catching up over the last month and a half. Also, you have to say AceBabiee's Adventures. So.
Wait. Am I cutting down a little bit of the title?
No, you just did AceBabiee's 2024 Adventures. So you split up the AceBabiee's Adventures. It's like a package deal.
Hey, James.
Those things, they kind of have to like be together. I don't know why. Like, I don't make the rules. I just
that's true. Rules be rules.
Rules be rules. You know?
First of all, let me say this. let me say this. Todd messaged me earlier today saying he did not have power. So, Todd, I hope you got your power back because, it's not fun when it's really hot in the house. So, I hope you got your power back.
Yeah. We hear did field work today. So, I've mentioned this in one of my posts, but I'm pretty much, not pretty much, but I'm taking off this entire week and a couple days that I'm back and then traveling just to give my body a little bit of a rest because I've been doing so much. But the break does not include putting and field work. So I absolutely want to do a ton of putting and field work. And today was my 3rd day in a row of putting. Went really well. Haven't posted anything about that, but I will post a short clip of my first few throws of the evening. And I'm not trying to get a ton in. It's more of just getting it a little bit in every single day is more of my goal with the putting. And then the same thing with the field work, especially after today. I think I need more of the field work. But anyway, all of that to say, I was outside and it was fine. And then this storm started coming through and there was lightning and thunder. I mean, I just feel the weather has been really crazy. I mean, that's pretty common for Florida, but it just seems everywhere has been extremely humid. Today it was 107 degrees with the humidity here in Florida.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I planned on going to play this morning, and I got up and I was like, "Yeah, no." it was 90+% humidity, and it was 78 degrees, and I was like, "Oh, it's not gonna be that bad." Walk outside, burst in a puddle of sweat, and slowly crawl back in the house.
It was pretty rough because I try to put sunscreen on my face when I go outside. I should even do it when I'm inside, but usually I just remember when I go outside and stuff. So I put sunscreen on my face, but it is so humid that, I'm sweating my eyebrows and it's getting in my eyes and my eyes start burning. And I'm just man, this is rough. And so I have a towel just I'm trying to blot out, get out the dew and the humidity that's getting into my eyes. Andy did play around this morning, very early. I think it was before 8 a.m., which is pretty much what you need to do if you play in Florida in the summer. And he actually did he was 11 down through 13 holes, I think. And then I think he just parred out after that. But it was still a really good round even with that.
That's pretty sick right there.
Yeah. So anyway, this humidity is something else.
Yeah.
What is? Let me see.
The 80s and GR. I guess that's Grand Rapids.
Yeah, Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be back
in Southwest Ohio.
Centerville. Worlds this year for essentially the hottest month of the year, August, which is the best month. I mean, because it's the month I was born, but I am biased.
It's not April, but I guess it'll do. Hey, April is the diamond month.
I mean, it's close. It starts with
diamond right here.
Starts with an A, like AceBabiee's Adventures, but August AceBabiee's Adventures, who knows?
Yeah. Well, actually, I know you're getting 2 wins next month, so we got that to look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty intense August for me. It'll be my very first year playing Amateur Worlds and Pro Worlds, and they're both in August. So it will be AceBabiee's August Adventures, you know.
So Junior Worlds was happening this week or this coming week. Excuse me, this coming week.
I think it's like starts in 2 days.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. Yeah, I think I saw that it started on the 16th. I have a good number of girls that I know that are playing in that. So very excited for them.
James wants to know, how do you feel halfway through the season? Well, through the year, excuse me.
Man, there's so much to that. And some of the answer is in the part A and part B to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, honestly, doing this podcast has really helped me to see everything as a whole, like the big picture. I'm very much a detail-oriented type of person. I notice things and details of things that like nobody else does. So I can get very focused in on the details of things and not really see or recognize the big picture, at least to the extent that it is. So this podcast has, by creating like a big long list of all of the things that I've done over the last simply month and a half. I mean, you know, we're talking about a fourth of the year so far.
Yeah.
And it's been mind-boggling to me how much I fit into such a short time, how busy I've stayed. But I think I actually just made a post earlier today. It was an updated schedule post. And I talked a lot about that in my post. So I pretty much mentioned, you know, multiple reasons for like why I decided to have the year that I had. And I've spent a lot of time as a result kind of this podcast again, and of seeing everything that I've done. I've done some reevaluating of like, okay, where am I at in my life? Like, why am I doing what I'm doing? Do I still have the same purpose and goal? Like, am I still going the same direction? Because again, with my personality, it's much easier to be like, okay, this is what I plan to do. These are all the details. And then, you know, miss like the big picture of everything. So to try to answer this question as relatively quickly, I will say that overall, I'm very happy with my year. It has been extremely busy. I'd have to say, I don't think I would want to have a lot of years that are like this, but I am glad to have some years that are like this. I mean, I would still want years that are very busy and, you know, playing a lot of tournaments, but maybe having like a couple more weeks in here or there where I'm back in Florida, or where I have a little bit more of a break in between tournaments, because I mean, this year it's just been nonstop. I mean, and I mentioned this in my post too. It's been, from essentially about 5 months to like 5.5 months, because January doesn't count for me because I got married, had a wedding, was planning all of that, was planning before then. So I didn't even play tournaments or events at all in January. So we're talking about 5 months to a little bit over 5 months. I played 20 events. And on top of that, they're not just 20 like C tiers or leagues or something like that. One of those 20 events is one league, 2 different rounds, 2 different weeks. So that counts for 1.
Yep.
There's 2 majors, 6 Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite Series events. So, you know, we're talking like grueling courses, 3-day weekends, you know, you're just exhausted. And then 6 A tiers and only 2 B tiers, 2 C tiers, and then 1 team challenge event, which was the Throw Pink team challenge event. So, and that's only tournaments. I mean, I've done a lot of other things. Obviously, there's traveling, there's planning, there's fundraising stuff, there's disc golf lessons, there's, you know, my life, just living, you know, and spending time with my husband, like all of the different things that are involved in life. And
yeah, I was about to say there was a honeymoon thrown in there.
Yes, there was a honeymoon. And there was a lot of disc golf, I would say. Maybe Andy knows for sure, but we probably played like 6 different courses, maybe 7. I can't remember exactly, but we played or rounds. I'm not sure how we played a good number of rounds while we were on the honeymoon, but that was also nice because I did a lot less like on social media and stuff. And then, that's another thing, social media and stuff like this, that takes up a ton of my time. It's either in the past been like a full-time job. Now it's like usually full-time, sometimes part-time. But it's a lot of work. So yeah, I'm really happy with it after I kind of spent the last like couple weeks evaluating my year so far. I was like, I am really, really happy with this year, and I'm so glad for the experience, and I'm glad that I get to see how my body responds to kind of going nonstop and trying this out. Because if I can handle it at like the highest level, obviously, I can definitely dial it back in future months or future years or whatever if I need to. Say I'm kind of getting burnout or just my body is extremely exhausted and needs a little bit more time. So I think the important thing is just being able to reevaluate as needed and figure out when, I need a little bit more time, and not allow the little details of things to always dictate what I do, but to be able to kind of reel it back in and see what I need to do for myself, for the big picture, for other people, for the whole of my life. I don't know if that answered your question, but that was my attempt to answer your question.
Went to 7 different courses, only finished 5 due to bugs and rain.
We played 2 rounds at one course that was like a pretty giant course.
It was
Squirrel Hill in northern Wisconsin. It was so amazing. Absolutely loved that course. The mosquitoes were so terrible. But I just got something in the mail like while I was gone, and I just unboxed it today. I don't know why I did quotes. It actually was a box this time. I do quotes because usually when I do an unboxing, it's like an envelope.
Yeah, so I was like, say, like an envelope.
Yeah, it's like, is this really an unboxing? Let me actually grab it. It's like right over here. I'll show you what it is. And maybe I can let people know if it actually works or not. But I had 2 different followers suggest this Thermacell mosquito repellent. So it says it's scent free, works within like a 15-foot radius or zone from the Thermacell, and you have just little packets you put in there. This is just like a carrier for it. So what I'm going to try is, if I'm in a place with a ton of mosquitoes, because mosquitoes just adore me, then I am going to try to put this like on my bag or Andy's bag or something like that and see if it helps. So we'll see if that works.
I would say what would be great about those is ever who you're playing is, who's your main competition, stand 16 feet away and all the mosquitoes will be on them.
Yeah, well, usually I'm a really great person to play disc golf with because they love me so much that I keep the mosquitoes essentially away from everyone else. And everyone's like, no, the mosquitoes aren't bad. I'm like, I have like 15 bug bites on my legs at that point.
James said those are great. His buddy takes those hunting and fishing. So that's awesome. And one thing I was going to say is what you're going through now, like this first real year playing top tier, and then you're still playing some amateur events, you're still playing some leagues and stuff. I truly think it weeds out people on the pro tour. You either fight through it or you're just like, you know what, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I think it's almost like what they used to call it in sport, in like football. It was like a hazing process.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not trying to be mean to anybody, but it's can you tolerate what it takes to be on that tour? And one thing you didn't even really mention, it really hit on, is the amount of travel between tournament to tournament. It is massive. People don't think about that. They're just like, well, you were in Tennessee. Well, you were in Texas before that, you're in Arkansas before that, you're in Florida before that, then you're in Michigan, now you're in Kansas City, or and people don't think about how much just wear and tear, not just on your vehicle, but on your body, just having to sit in the car driving that far, or even just being in the passenger seat going that far. So I mean that's a big thing.
I'm trying to calculate actually how many hours I drove just on this last stretch.
And that doesn't even include Walmart.
Oh my goodness. I drove over 100 hours.
Yeah.
Just this last month, like just to get back and forth between places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at least it's like well over 100. That's just drive. That's not like stops or sleeping or anything. That's just driving time. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I complained about driving 3 hours to Charlotte.
When I was going to Charlotte, I was driving 3 hours round trip every day.
Yeah.
Because of who I was staying with. People are like, oh my goodness, she just wants to like, it's like, no, I'm working really hard. I'm doing everything I can. I'm not like, I'm working super hard. I'm doing everything that I can. And I did that like 4 hours, and I'll get into that a little bit more. I did that actually not 4 hours. It was 3 hours round trip. It was construction the entire way. So it was like the most miserable driving.
Yeah.
And I did that 4 days in a row. So it was definitely a lot. But anyway, yeah, good questions. I talking about that and like the weeding out process, what you just mentioned, being able to do this has shown me that if I want to do this, long term, like I can. I yes. Absolutely can. I know that I have the ability, like mental, physical, the drive, the desire to be able to do this. So it's given me a lot of confidence, mm-hmm. Even still, this isn't even officially my rookie year because I'm still amateur. So I won't be like my official rookie year until next year. But like I don't really even get that nervous during Disc Golf Pro Tour events. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I almost think, man, I should be a little bit more nervous. I mean, I obviously care an extreme amount about my game, but sometimes I almost wish I had like a little bit more nerves, just to kind of get the blood flowing and, where you're like hyper focused on something. Not to say that I'm not focused, but there's definitely a different element to being like nervous, like having a little bit of nerves versus just feeling very calm. And I don't know which is better, really. Like I'm happy that I usually don't feel like there's like a knot in my stomach. So that's nice. Mm-hmm.
I think if you can play relaxed, that's going to be the best. I mean, if you're on, playing like the first tee of the first round, and I said this to you, I think the first time we talked, to me, it seems like the scariest shot of a tournament is the very first shot, because you're waiting for your tee time, and now you get up to the tee. Now you're just standing there because you got a few minutes to wait before they even announce you, and that would get in my head.
There's definitely been some times that I've been a little bit nervous, but mm-hmm. honestly, and we can talk about this more later, but mm-hmm. when we get into the Charlotte Am stuff, mm-hmm. but I was more nervous for the Charlotte Amateur Championships than I was for just about any Disc Golf Pro Tour event this year.
Darn it.
And, probably some of that had to do with the fact that I was like, okay, I know I can win this. I know I can do it. And, putting a certain amount of pressure, expectation on what I knew I was very capable of. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be interesting to see, like, as I get to a point in the Disc Golf Pro Tour where I'm actually getting into contention, or even within, like the cash yep. line. Stuff like that, and how I manage that. But I'm constantly working on my mental game, and I know it's important, and that will never be something that I'm like, oh, I've got mental game figured out. Now I don't. Mm-hmm. to work on it anymore. You know, that's something that is constantly changing and evolving because, you know, we are emotional beings, so you can be all over the place. So if you're not, I believe if you're not constantly working on the mental game aspect, then you're not going to be able to continue to do well.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're just like a robot.
Kristen Tatar.
It's funny.
I'm only joking. I love Kristen.
That in my mind as you were saying that.
But I mean, when I see her at times, I mean, she's just locked in. It's truly amazing.
Yeah, it is very, yes. And that we've talked about that before. That's the reason why she's able to win so much. I mean, obviously she has certain talents along with that. So you need that.
Pretty good.
But those are way easier to acquire than her mental game.
Yes.
Her mental game is the hard part that people should be working on, you know, acquiring is that.
Yeah, I kind of think when it comes to mental, you have to acquire it by going through the battles. I mean, there's a certain amount that you can learn, but I think you'll know when you're in the middle of the battle how you are mentally and physically. And I think like Ella Hansen, for example, who, again, someone else I absolutely adore. When she had that lead against Kristen and she collapsed the last 3 holes. I was like, that's something that she's going to grow from and she's going to be better because of it. And yeah. I think a lot of people, they stumble and then they get up, dust themselves off, and they're better because of it. So I think you're going to be all right, kid. You're going to be all right.
Thanks. All right. So should we get into it?
Yes.
All right. So we'll kind of go over the list a little bit. At the very end of it, we had gone on the honeymoon. That was in Wisconsin, then drove like the 11 hours to Michigan. And then in Michigan was the River City Open.
Mm-hmm.
That was FPO, played that, and then got to play with the co-owner of Essential Discs, and then went to a privately owned course called Swan Acres Disc Golf Course. And they actually gave me like a bunch of these. They're really cute. It has like their phone number on it and stuff on like the back. It's kind of cool. And then I think they may have given me something more than this too, but they gave me this really pretty towel. I love the colors of it. So I did want to like bring that out because I thought that was really cool of them. Yeah, so that was kind of where we left off. And then also I did have in my notes that I wanted to show my 2 ace hexes. So these are them.
Those are official AceBabiee's.
Yes. So I have 8 aces.
Wait. The blue one, is that a Mooglee?
Yes. So this is Mooglee Dyes.
Nice.
Absolutely gorgeous. It is so shiny and glossy. Like in person,
it's beautiful.
It looks so amazing. Mm-hmm. And then this one, I just love the colors, and I've had it since 2022 when Felix from Ace Run Pro gave this to me. It still has like his stamp there on the back.
Oh, nice.
So I aced with this one. And yeah, the hex is just such a fantastic disc, and I think it's awesome that I've aced twice with a hex. And the only other disc and it's also my last 2 aces. So they were back to back. And it's funny because I also aced with 2 passions. So both of these were a forehand ace. My passion, one was a forehand, one was a backhand. And those were also back to back. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And if I remember correctly, I have 4 backhand aces and 4 forehand aces. So I'm very balanced in terms of my style of throw between like forehand and backhand and my aces. So we're all symmetrical there.
Yeah. But
yes.
But how many do we need in tournaments?
Yeah, I'm not symmetrical in the tournaments anymore. I was when it was at 6, but now I've gotten 2 more casual round aces. So I need two more tournament aces in order to be even on the tournament and casual round aces. So my very first 3 aces were all in tournaments. And then my next 5 have been casual round aces. That would be Axiom, which is MVP too, but technically Axiom, but it's MVP.
Okay.
But yeah, because you pretty much know like Axiom has all like the pretty colors. At least that's how it has generally been. I don't know if MVP is kind of changing from that, but I really don't see them as different companies. They're essentially
I mean, it was Streamline also.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So Andy and I parted ways. He went off to do some work stuff, and then I drove from Grand Rapids to Boiling Springs, South Carolina, actually, which is where I stayed with my cousin and his family. And I'm trying to think how long of a drive that was. I think it was like 16 or 17. I can't remember exactly.
Oh, good gracious.
But that was a pretty long drive. And on my way, I actually got to stop at a pretty cool privately owned course. It's kind of funny how it worked out because, like, I didn't even remember about, like, the owner of this course inviting me to come play the course if I ever got, you know, the opportunity, because it had been like a couple years back. But I had put it on my wish list on Disx, and so when I was driving, I looked from like point A to point B. Okay, where I'm in it, that course happened to be like right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up going there and then contacted the owner and actually ended up playing the entire round with the owner, which was pretty cool. So it was very unexpected. Like, it all happened at very last minute. So that was kind of cool. Got to play his course. Definitely a pretty well designed privately owned course. He did a good job of that. That was Shreve Hollow, I think is how you say it. It's Denver Snyder is the owner of that. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And he's also, of course, like the designer of the course. So he designed it and has done a lot of the building and maintenance, and I'm sure has had some help on it as well. So then I got to stay with my cousin and his family. And they have like their 3 kids, and I absolutely loved my time with them. Like, it was so much fun. I fell in love with the kids kind of fell in love with me. We just had such a fun time. Got to play disc golf with all of them for the first time. So it was like 7 of us, and, you know, trying to keep like track of discs, and I gave everyone a disc and we recorded a lot of it. I actually just posted a reel, I think yesterday, showing some of the adventures from that. But like, we played board games. I was able to learn a new board game that was really fun that I'm definitely going to end up buying. With my cousin, I played some board games with my cousins, or they're more like nieces and nephews, essentially. Mm-hmm. And Res Arcana is the name of the new board game that I played, for any of those that are interested in checking it out. So yeah, had a lot of fun with, like, so Owen and Eviana were like the 2 older kids, Owen, then Eviana, and then Isaac was the youngest. And I think it was after like the very first day I was there, like the second night I was there, he was like, "Can you do bedtime with me?" And so every single night after that point until I left, I did bedtime with him, which was like really, really special. Mm-hmm. And we would like read a book. Usually it ended up being 2 books, and then we'd pray together, and then I'd sing multiple songs, usually 2 or 3. It ended up being like 2 or 3 songs that I would sing for him. And then sometimes we'd like talk for a little bit, and then I'd go out and that would be bedtime. So that was really cool. He's my little buddy.
That is awesome.
So yeah, and then I just had a super fun time with my cousin Daniel and his wife Katie. She's studying to be like a chiropractor, so she couldn't do like exactly some work on me because she's still like earlier on, but she gave me some suggestions. And I had mentioned about how I needed to pee very frequently when I would drink water. I mean, I would drink water and it would just go right through me, and I needed to go to the bathroom, and it was like nothing was getting absorbed. And she said, well, you know, that the water will go with where the electrolytes go, so you probably just don't have enough electrolytes. And she said the same thing was happening to her. And so what she does is she'll add sea salt to like 1/8 of a teaspoon. I usually add a good bit more than that, actually. And I also have hydration stuff that I've bought and I use for, you know, playing disc golf and everything. But now I've added sea salt to that as well. And as far as I can tell, it's helped a lot. I mean, I still need to, pee more, but that's more natural instead of it being like, okay, I need to go to the bathroom every 10, 15 minutes while I'm playing a disc golf tournament, which is very distracting and inconvenient.
Yeah, Mooglee just mentioned liquid IV. One of my friends, Chris, he mentioned that recently. It's expensive.
Yeah, so
I've not had it, but he swears by it. Chris swears by it.
I used to drink liquid IV a lot, and I do think it does the trick, but it has a lot of extra added stuff that aren't great, like sugars and stuff. And so I do think that if you're starting out, like that's a great way to start out. But I went and bought like actually one that I think maybe even is cheaper than liquid IV, but it's sweetened by stevia, I believe, or something. I'm pretty sure it's by stevia, so it doesn't have any like sugar in it. Since I guess stevia doesn't count towards it's not a sugar like what's put in most of the drinks. Like even because I was wanting to take, like I used to do like Emergency too, which would get like a lot of vitamin C in me, but then they'd add a ton of sugars to that as well. So I also went on Amazon and searched for like one that was sugar free, or I think it's sugar free. It may be like really low sugar. So and that's more important for me just because I would drink this stuff all the time, and so I'm trying to make sure, okay, if I'm going to be doing this all the time, I want to get a product in each of these areas that that isn't going to have like a ton of added sugar to what I'm drinking.
Mooglee says he gets the sugar free at Sam's.
Oh, that's awesome for the win.
Go.
I'll have to check out that one. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I'd ever even noticed that there was a sugar-free. There probably is sugar-free like Walmart or something. That's awesome though. He may have even mentioned that to me. I don't know.
And Todd was saying potassium is also important as well.
Yeah.
Bananas. Yeah, I've always heard bananas are always good to keep your potassium up. Definitely.
And pickle juice.
Yes. Yes.
Pickle juice. I love pickle juice. I literally just drank a bunch of pickle juice. I think Andy was like, yeah, we have like 6 jars of pickles. And I said, well, just pour me a cup of pickle juice and I'll eat a pickle and I'll drink a full cup of pickle juice.
I tell you something I also heard that pickle juice was good for is like Major League Baseball pitchers. And this applies to disc golf as well. People get blisters real bad on their fingers and stuff. And a baseball player said, stick your fingers in pickle juice and it'll build up a tolerance. And I was like, really? They said it kind of thicken your skin up. I have never done that, but I heard a Major League Baseball pitcher say that's what you need to do.
Because it's definitely a lot. What's vinegar? Yeah, that's interesting.
I guess if they're talking about like the brine in it or something, I don't know, but I don't know.
So runners will use a more concentrated version of it for like cramping and stuff, because the potassium, that's also really important for cramping and things like that. So they even have like these pickle juice shots that you can take along with like the salt pills and stuff like that. So
just imagine someone going to a bar, hit me with a shot of pickle juice.
I love it. I actually very recently found, I don't think they're very healthy version. I think they put like a bunch of extra stuff in it, but they were actually like pickle pops, like popsicles that are just you put in the freezer and have a pickle popsicle. And I had it multiple times. They're really good.
There you go.
Yeah, wrestling season. That makes a lot of sense. I'm sure there's a ton of cramping in wrestling.
Martin House has a pickle juice beer.
Beer? Oh wow, nice.
I don't drink, so that just sounds nasty to me.
I don't drink much, but like I would try that. Yeah. I'm definitely a pickle juice.
That's interesting.
And when I was a kid, me and my mostly I would say like me and some of my younger siblings, we would do shots of random things, so it would be like pickle juice, Worcestershire sauce, lemon juice, I'm sure there were other things, but those were probably like the main things. And I love Worcestershire sauce. I love pickle juice. I love like lime juice, lemon juice. I'm trying to think what else there was. I think sometimes we were dumb enough to maybe do like, it wasn't like Frank's hot sauce. Maybe it was like, what's the hotter one?
Like Tabasco?
Yeah, like Tabasco sauce.
Yeah.
Which was a really bad idea. And I don't think we did that very often. And I think if I did it, probably like tore up my stomach and was probably not happy with it.
Yeah. One of my friends, when we were little, we had a sleepover and we were really hungry one night. So we raided the refrigerator. We had Ritz crackers. And then what was in the refrigerator? We were like, okay, well, we have like pepperoni slices. We had bacon bits. We put like mustard on it. Worcestershire sauce. We had a little bit of tang and sprinkled on top of it. We're just daring each other to eat these things.
I would definitely do like a shot of mustard. I'd be totally fine with that. I like mustard. I think it's fun.
That reminds me of Dumb and Dumber when he's like squirting the mustard and ketchup in his face.
Yeah. Well, I was actually going to do that move at darn it, what was the tournament I literally just played? I'm completely blanking. Where was I? I was in Des Moines Challenge.
Oh yeah, yes.
At the Des Moines Challenge, and there was a cooler with water and ice in it, and they also had ketchup and mustard in there. And I was feeling like I needed some electrolytes, and they were like, "Oh, ketchup is really good for that, or mustard is really good for that."
Hot sauce with a mustard chaser.
Oh my goodness. I would not do the hot sauce now. That's like just no bueno for my stomach. Like we won't.
It's funny. I love.
I do like hot things, but I keep it in like moderation and make it not too crazy. But anyway, I was gonna actually do that, and the only reason I didn't, like, I was just gonna squirt a bunch into my mouth of the mustard to, get some electrolytes, and the only reason I didn't do it was because I had almost a completely white shirt on, and so if I would have missed that, I would have been ruining my shirt.
You're going all the way down your shirt.
I was still gonna do it, but then someone talked a little bit of sense into me, so I was like, okay, I guess I won't do that.
Everyone's like, chug it.
Yeah. This has been really great so far, but I love how we haven't gotten anywhere on the list so far. I feel like what
we got to
so good.
Like 70. We started at 68.
77. Okay. Anyway, so finished listening to multiple books. One was The Power of Now, which some of these, I don't agree with everything in them, but I've learned a lot from each book. I like The Power of Now is all about you're only living in the now. Like, that doesn't mean that you don't care about the future. You don't do things for the future, but you won't be in another moment. So being like, okay, well, I'll be happy at another point, or I'll be, whatever. So that was one that I kind of oh, wow, Andy just brought me some, wow. Look at the pickle. It has a pickle in it, and then it's a bunch of pickle juice. Hit the spot. Love it. Thanks, babe.
Was it chilled?
It is chilled. Yeah, it's been in the refrigerator.
There you go.
Man, the power now, baby. Let's go.
Oh, thank you. Oh, there's no one here. Never mind.
Here, I'll try to. Anyway, so I actually start here.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Right there. There you go.
That's so funny because I'm also technically pointing. It shows as mine being away from you. There's hilarious. I wish I could have a recording of this recording on my end and show you what it looks like. Anyway, so I actually started listening to that book probably back in 2022, and I purposefully not finished it and done it kind of slowly, so I would, some of those ideas and principles would sort of be brought up, and I'd learn more from it time.
You need a belt with condiment holsters on it. Ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, pickle juice.
Yeah, definitely pickle juice.
That is awesome.
I think those are the two really most important. But yes, I agree. Let's get this going. Let's get it started. Let's start.
Yes.
So then I also listened to The Mindset of a Champion. That one was very short but really good. I liked it. Best Self. That was also a very good book. Not really a lot of new things that I learned, but it was really good and kind of solidified in a couple new things. And I felt like it was a lot of really, really important, good information put into one book. Also listen to the Mel Robbins podcast some if you get the opportunity to listen to that. She just has a fantastic speaking voice, but has learned so much in life. And some of the most important things that I think that if all Americans or just people in the world would learn, like good boundaries and things like that, we just have a much, much, much better world and much healthier relationships in general, like friendships, romantic relationships, family, acquaintances, like all of those things. So she was really great. And then, of course, I've listened to a ton of music and have also been doing car karaoke a little bit more over the past week even. Yeah, Mel Robbins. Yeah, she's great. Well, she has like this podcast that she started that kind of goes over. It's just great. It's fantastic. I definitely recommend it. I haven't listened to a lot of it yet, but I can already tell, even from what I've listened to, that she has learned a lot, especially over the past few years, and has a lot of great knowledge and information to share with people to help people if they're at a place in their life where they're ready to be helped, because a lot of people just aren't ready to be helped. They're not there. They either aren't ready for it, or they don't really think they need the help, or they don't think that they need the growth. They're like, oh, I'm fine how I am. It's like, okay, well, you are, but you are going to miss out on certain things and certain relationships because you're just not mature enough for them, or whatever. Like, I've grown a ton and I'm very proud and happy of the person that I am, but I still know that I have a ton of areas that I need and want to grow in, and I hope that I always feel that way. And I think that I will, but so can't talk about like all of my travels without bringing up like books and singing and music and stuff like that, because it's definitely an important part of my life and growth and everything. And actually something that I think moving forward in the future, it's another thing when I was evaluating everything that I've done over the past year and like my direction and what I'm doing with disc golf, kind of my my general purpose in life. Like, what's my purpose? What am I doing? Is this? Am I staying true to myself? Am I doing what I should be doing? Am I helping other people the way that I should be? And things like that. And I'm sure I'll be talking more about this on my social media in the future, but something that I've felt much more like burdened about, or maybe not even burden is the right word, but just very, very passionate about, is like helping others with like personal growth, more like life coach type things. It's something that I love. Like, I love being able to help my friends out with. It's been amazing to be able to see the growth and the change in my own life when I've had it, and to be able to incorporate more of that into what I do would be amazing and fulfilling, and a way that I can like give back to other people and the world, society more, so more to come in the future. Gotta try some more of this delicious pickle juice. This cracks me up.
That's funny. That's awesome. Yeah, I've always said you get back what you put out. If you put out positive energy and positive vibes, that's what you're getting back. If you treat people like garbage, that's what you're gonna be treated like. Yeah. So that's why I always try very hard to treat everybody like $1,000,000, because I want them to treat me like that.
Yeah, it's super.
Be a little ray of sunshine.
It just makes the world a much better place, And I think people think that, well, to be a good person and to be a kind person, like, you can't ever defend yourself or speak up for yourself or say something that maybe is less than ideal that is happening. And that's just not true. That's a society that has no boundaries and no respect for themselves. And so, like, how dare you have Like, how dare you respect yourself? How dare you have expectations for like certain things or want to make it better, you know? And almost always when because I have spoken out about some things, even over this year, you know, and every single time I've had some people who've been like super supportive about it and encouraging, and some people have been like, you're a terrible person. You just think the world revolves around you and all of this stuff. And I'm just sitting there thinking like, okay, like, I know that's not true. But like, you can think what you want. But in almost all of those cases, I'm actually doing it for other people. Like, I'm not even doing it for my own benefit. In fact, a situation recently, I'm not going to go into any of the details, but it was throwing myself under the bus essentially with certain people, but it was only for the benefit of other people in future years, you know, to make something better. So there would be awareness about it, knowing that I was going to be like chastised for it. And to me, it's like, I don't care about that, because like, I'm not doing it for your praise or for your, what's the word? Like, you're tearing me down essentially, you know, like, I'm not doing it for your approval one way or another. I'm doing it because I believe it's right.
Right.
And that's the key, is if you do something either on the positive end or the negative end, it needs to be because you believe it's the right thing to do, not because you're going to get validation or because you're going to get haters, you know? Anyway, that's a little bit of real talk.
Yes, we Asian athletes. we have a little more left in the tank.
Nice. All right, so I'll get back to the script. We've been off script for a little while. All right, so June 10th was when we played the casual rounds. June 11th was traveling. June 12th, I just slept in and hung out with the family, and it was like a recovery day. I think I went to the pool with them. Like either 2 or maybe 3 times. So that was nice. Like, I never go to the pool. So that was fun. And then June 13th was the Thursday. And so that was the day I have ace number 8 down here, but that's actually wrong. It was ace number 7. So I got an ace that day. It was, well, I'll get into all that. Well, I'll go back to it. We've talked about this before. So it was that day I was up to 558 rounds on Disx and 198 different courses. So I realized that, and I was like, man, if I just play 2 rounds and they're 2 different new courses over the next, like in this day, then I will get to 600 rounds and 200 different courses at the same time. Yep. Which, engineer nerd here, math minor, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like, that's amazing. Has to be done. So the very first course I went to, which was my 599th round and 199th course, I got an ace on hole 9, I believe it was, or 10. It was like a water, like there was like water to the right. So if I hadn't made it in the basket, I could have lost my hex. But anyway, it was funny because like both of these rounds I was playing by myself. So I didn't have anybody with me, but there was a flex start that was going on at that course. But they weren't like super close to where I was, but a guy was just walking to that hole to just practice that hole. And he was literally like halfway to the tee pad, walking between the basket and the tee pad when I hit the ace. And of course, I'm like super excited. And then he's super excited. So his name is Mike. I got his like Instagram name and stuff. And, he actually, yeah, it was so funny. And so then I made like a couple little videos, and if you followed along on Instagram, you saw those. So I thought that was really cool because, I've always had a witness for all of my aces that I've gotten so far. So it was just so random that like the entire rest of the round, I think before and even after, there was like nobody around. And when I got my ace, this random guy shows up and is like, let me witness your ace.
That is so awesome.
It was just so funny. And then on top of that, like, this guy doesn't know me at all. And then he, I guess, checks out my Instagram, sees that I have like a cancer GoFundMe, and which still like plenty of bills, you know, from medical bills that are still ongoing from that. And he donates to my cancer GoFundMe, which was like extremely, extremely kind and thoughtful of this like random stranger. Like, he doesn't know me from Adam. So I just, things like that. It's like, it helps put a little bit of faith and hope back into humanity, you know. Like, people do things like that, you're like, wow, what like, not like, you'd never expect someone to ever do anything like that, and then just to decide that they would go out of their way and like help you out as another human being, and just like make your life and your day better. I just thought that was so nice. And so that was the blue, that was this hex that I aced. This is the one from Felix, the blue and pink ace. Oh, and then another funny part to that was, so the next day was the first round of the Charlotte Amateur Championships. And on hole 3, I think it was, I threw this disc into the water. As you can see, I got it back. There is a happy ending. But yeah, and this was the only course out of the 3. So there were 3 different courses, 3 days. This was the only course that I had played before, but it was like the very end of 2022, I think. Or no. It was very end of 21, I think. It was Carolina Clash was rescheduled from like October to December something because of a hurricane. I forget. I used to remember the name of the hurricane, but they moved that date, and I'd played it. But I, like, when I went back there and played it in the tournament round, first of all, I shot my best rated round ever, which was a 960. I have it written down here. A 962. So I shot my best round ever, but like, I only remembered part of 2 holes for the entire course. So I was essentially still playing that course blind. So when I threw this shot, I thought I had plenty of room, and I knew that there was water behind the basket. It was like a little bit past circle 2, essentially. Probably like, I don't know, maybe like 50 feet from the basket, something like that. So, and I just barely went into the water. Like, when we got down there, I could see my disc, and we tried to get it out and just like shoved it under the muck, and it was really gross. I went back after the round, took my shoes and socks off and everything, and got in. It was so nasty. But I was like, I'm going to find my disc. But even though I knew exactly where it was, it still was like pretty hard to find it. It had just like gotten lodged under all of that muck. So I'm very thankful that I knew exactly where it was, or I don't think I ever would have been able to find it. But I will say I didn't get a single bogey that round.
Oh, nice.
So my drive, and then my second throw is a par 4. So it's like around a corner and then way down the hill and then kind of to the right. And so I threw the hex, and that's what went past the basket, and it went OB, of course. And so I had to make a circle 2 putt in order to save par. And so I made the putt and saved par on that hole. So that was pretty exciting. But I was like, you know what? I probably shouldn't be throwing this disc on water holes since it's an ace disc, you know?
Yes. So that was at Eastway?
Yes. That was the Easter way. So I had technically played that one before, but I really didn't remember of it.
See, that's one I have on my list. I want to play it next time I go down there.
Yeah, that one's really fun. I mean, honestly, that set of courses are maybe even the best 3 courses I've ever played in a tournament. Like in terms of how good each course was as a standalone, how fun it was, how good it was in terms of like wooded and also open. Charlotte has such amazing courses. I love it so much. It's amazing to be able to play more of those courses, like more frequently, you know. That was East Away, and that was my 962 rated round. That was awesome. That was round 1. That was on June 14th. The day before, I had played Scrapyard, and also it's called Wing It, but it's like Plantation Ruins at Wing It.
Yeah.
And on UDisc, both. When I played in the rounds, I didn't do nearly as well. So maybe I should have just played it blind, like I did East Away, because I played East Away way better. I mean, best round ever. You can't argue with that, right?
Yeah.
But Scrapyard, I got a 228 rating on UDisc. It was a 5 down, which that's gonna be like 950 rated as well, at least, maybe more, maybe 960. And then at Plantation Ruins, I got a 943 rated round, which would be like 960 or 70. So maybe like if I would have shot that during the actual tournament, I probably would have beat my highest rating to date from round 1. So, but that's okay. And that was a 9 down at Wing It. So I was like super, super happy with that. But didn't do quite as well during the actual round. Also, there were like a lot of backups. It's kind of harder when you're like waiting on every single hole. So, and you got to experience that as well. Yeah. So June 14th, we had the highest rated round. Was there anything else you wanted to say about that? Sorry, I didn't mean to like cut you off.
Oh, no. I mean, I was just going to say, like, Wing It is another one that's on my list. I have not gotten to see either one of those courses in person. So, and yeah, Charlotte courses are phenomenal.
Yes. You're just so good. Especially like for someone, I feel like at my like FPO level kind of thing, it's really good. So I also wanted to mention I was able to play with Brandy the entire weekend. And we had actually played together the last time was at the Carolina Clash. I have on here the 2022 Carolina Clash, but I don't know if it was the 2022. Maybe it was. Yeah, I think maybe it was the 2022. Anyway, it was when it was rescheduled. So Brandy and I had played together then. And then I tried playing Carolina Clash again last year, but I got COVID. So I wasn't able to play that. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Then I wanted to say, so for which I play here, so this was the Charlotte Am. So the next weekend I play the Throw Pink Team Challenge, and Brandy was on the winning team. It's a team of 4 women, and Brandy was on the winning team for the Throw Pink Team Challenge, which is like really good because there are 54 teams, I'm pretty sure. So that's a lot of competitors, and we tied for 8th place, my team, and they got 1st place. So I thought that was really cool. It was kind of funny too because I saw her after all of the rounds, and I was like, "Oh, hey, like, how'd you do?" Because for some reason, like, it wasn't clicking with me that she was like on that team, or I just hadn't seen it or realized that. And she was just very like humble and kind of nonchalant about it. She's like, yeah, I did pretty well, pretty happy with how I did. You know, you would have never known that she just won. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then I figured out later, I was like, oh, she was on the winning team. I was like, I feel really dumb now.
But that tournament itself, if you look at some of the teams, there were some really, really good players on them.
Yes. Some really, really.
I mean, anywhere from a 5-time world champion, Elaine King, she was there.
Paige
Shue was there. Ellen Widboom, she was there.
Yeah.
And it was some amazing talent. And one card had I call them, I jokingly call them the baby card because all of them
they were
are like under like 15.
Yeah. Yeah.
and
They did really
I think
well.
they finished like in the top 3 or something.
I think they got 3rd place.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but it was something close to that if it wasn't 3rd.
I was like, that's a future card right there. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really fun. And that was I'll talk about that later when we actually get to there. We'll have plenty of time to get into Throw Pink Team Challenge, probably in another podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So June 15th was round 2, shot a 902 rated round. I definitely left a lot out there, but played like fairly well. My most disappointing moment of that round was that I missed a bullseye putt on hole 1. Like, I threw my shot and we were the next to last card out. And the guy was like, yeah, that's the best drive I've seen all day. And so I like parked the basket and then I missed the putt. And then the next day I pretty much had the same thing happen. I parked the basket and I was like, I'm not missing this putt. So, and that was at Wing It. So that was day 2, also really fun course. And this is kind of like real life thing put into like my disc golf journey because it's just things you don't think about, you know? So so far as we know, I'm cancer free currently, or it's in remission. I'm doing pretty well, still doing like testing. That's some of what I'm doing now, you know, while I'm home. And then I also have this, it's like Signatura is the brand. It's like residual disease test or whatever. So I'm taking that, and that's also something that kind of like tracks. It's like blood work and tracks different things to help you see how your body's doing, if it's, you know, cancer's coming back, stuff like that. So I actually worked out a bunch of things to like go to a blood, like a draw center to where I could have my blood taken before my second round.
Mm-hmm.
Like I go get my blood drawn and like get poked and all over the place and stuff. And so I'm getting up like super early because I have an hour and a half drive in traffic, and then I go to there and then I go to the course and everything. So that was just another like extra life thing that you just don't think about, you know, when people are on the road, the other things that you need to do and get done. So that's just a part of my life, which is not normal for most people. You know, most people don't or haven't had cancer, but maybe they have other things that are going on that are different than that, but that still require a lot of their time or attention, or whatever. So then we move on to June 16th, which is where our friend Daryl, Simply Incredible Disc Golf, comes in the picture. So round 3 was unfortunately my worst round.
And you're welcome.
I'm sure I think we also like waited around the most that day, and it was like the final round. So there were a lot of different factors involved in it. But even though it was my worst rated round and it definitely felt the worst of all of my rounds, I still made 3 circle 2 putts.
Yep.
Which was
they're on video.
Like, it's hard to be upset about a round when you make 3 circle 2 putts. At least for me, you know, like I'm not Ricky Wysocki. I'm sure for him that's like pretty normal. Yeah. But so that was pretty awesome, and that was at Scrapyard. It's the full name is like Scrapyard at Idlewild Park. Mm-hmm. That's the same course that I got my 7th ace at with the Hex. I unfortunately did not ace that hole during the round. So in fact, I didn't even birdie it. I gave it a decent bid, but you know, is what it is. I think only one person on our card birdied it, if I remember correctly. And it was Brandy, and she made
hole was that?
Freaking amazing putt. I think it was hole 9, and she made an amazing circle 2 putt from down on the hill and got the bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandy, she had a rough day that day.
She had a very rough day. Yeah.
And it's funny because at one point, me and her were talking for a second, and I was like, and I told her this. I was like, stay positive because you're throwing some good shots. A few of them are just getting some bad breaks, but you're throwing some good shots. And I can't remember what hole it was, but it was a downhill hole. And then it turned and kind of went up a little hill.
Yeah.
And it had that one little bridge that was crossing 14. Nothing.
I think that was hole 14. I'm pretty sure that was 14, actually.
Yeah. And she just laced that shot.
Yeah.
I was like, there you go. Good job.
Yes.
But I could tell just watching her, I didn't know about the throw game with her. And I was like, I can tell she's good.
She threw a flick on that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then the next hole, 15, ate my lunch. It took a lot of our lunches, but it really took my lunch. So in fact, even that hole that she laced, that she did an amazing job on, I managed to bogey it. It was really maybe even
I wasn't going to mention that.
Did I double bogey it or just bogey?
No, you double bogey the next hole.
I definitely double bogeyed the next hole.
Yeah.
But that hole was like, I shouldn't have bogeyed it. Like the worst should have been a par.
Yeah, because I think that was a long par 3, and it was really tight.
It was. Yes, yeah. The hole 15 was the next hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was that one could have had a little bit more of a line, I think. But I didn't really get to practice it because the flex start was happening and I was like getting it up to people and I was kind of worried about my time because I still needed to go to the second course to wing it and play that as well. So I essentially didn't really get to even practice that hole or the hole before much practice round. Which I think got in my head a little bit when we got there during the round, and I definitely didn't play them very well.
Okay, did you expect me to be there?
No, definitely not. I had no idea you would be there. You very much surprised me. I was like, oh, I know that guy.
That guy has a really cool shirt.
You also had a really cool shirt for me too.
Yes,
incredible disc golf shirt with my little AceBabiee's. Well, yeah. So I have a question for you. So, tell me about your experience. Obviously, you know me from the podcast. You've seen me on social media, all of those things. Meeting me for the first time, what was your thought? Are you like, man, this chick is like, she's just not all that, could have been better? Or was it like, wow, she's pretty cool, but kind of what I expected? Or
to be honest with you, I honestly, I felt like I was just meeting a friend. I didn't feel like I was meeting someone that I didn't know. Nice. So to me, I didn't have any expectations, to be honest with you. To be honest, I figured I'd come up, little bro hug. let's just go and watch you play some disc golf. And then I went ahead and recorded the round, which to me, the funny story is hole 2, I'm like, I don't feel comfortable. And then y'all teed off on hole 3. I was like, hey, Rebecca, can you tell these ladies who I am? I don't want them to think I'm some creeper just walking around with them.
Yeah.
and
I was like, I meant to do that.
Yeah, why is this guy walking around recording?
Yeah, and they all knew that you were with me. You had come, for me. So, but there was actually a guy that's in the community.
Yes.
Was it the day before? Yeah, the day before.
Yes.
That also made the round tougher and like got into my head and I think some other girls' head. But he's like a local guy, and I think he like helped like design the course. But it was just kind of it was kind of weird. Like he would stand like in the fairway, down the fairway, and kind of like be in the line of sight. And it was just that was kind of an interesting experience. So especially coming from that the day before, it made a lot of sense. Explaining to them who you were. And then the funnier thing about that is the fact that you ended up doing a podcast with one the girl,
Lauren and her caddy that day,
and her caddy friend that were teammates.
And it was really cool talking with them, to be honest. So that was a lot of fun. But I just walking that course, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And it's not because of the course. The course was gorgeous. And when I got the hole 8, that water carry hole, that par 3, I was just dying. I wanted to play so bad. But I mean, walking around with you guys, you ladies, I keep saying guys, the ladies there, it was so much fun watching y'all play and watching you compete and being kind of in your element, competition element, even though, the tournament was over before we got there. You were up, was it 7 going into the last round?
7, and then I think I won with 6 by 6 strokes, maybe.
I think so, yeah. But again, the last shot was a C2 putt to finish it off. Yeah,
finished hole 18 with a birdie circle 2 putt.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty clutch. I was pretty happy with that, especially after such a rough round, because when you're not playing extremely well, and I knew that I wasn't playing very well. Made a number of really dumb mistakes.
Well, let me ask you this question about that, because going in with that big of a lead, are you thinking take the throttle off, just par out, finish it, because they're not going to shoot 7 under?
Yeah, I'm thinking more that I'm thinking it really depends on the hole. So if it's a hole where it's relatively easy to birdie, I still didn't want to completely let up. I didn't want to par everything, but at the same time, if it was a very challenging hole, then bye Chuck.
Hey Charles, for being on.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Then I didn't want to just play it for the 3. But if it was a more challenging hole in which you could get in a lot more trouble, then I was more likely to play the high percentage shot that wouldn't necessarily get me the birdie, but that would get me the par. So that's usually that's definitely my thought with it. When you're that far in the lead, it's good to not go crazy, because you could. I mean, I could let go of that lead. It's definitely possible.
I mean, on a tight wooded course like that, I mean, you can blow up on a few holes real easy.
Yeah. So,
but you started off lacing hole 1 for a birdie.
Yes. Yeah. So I started out with a birdie and I ended with a birdie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was really fun. And so I put it in there, and it wasn't actually in bullseye for that one, but it was just outside of bullseye. I think it was.
Yeah, I would say 10 feet or so.
Yeah, I said 12 feet, but probably about that. So it was definitely one where I was after I missed that literally bullseye putt, so close to the basket on the day before on hole 1, I was I am not missing this putt. I'm definitely making that putt. And especially after having such a fantastic drive on the hole, and you don't want to throw it away with not not making an easy putt. That's just the worst feeling.
Okay, but what was your thought when you saw me though? He's much taller than I thought.
Yes, I remember that. You were you're much taller. I was sorry.
Where's the rest of you? You're only 5 foot tall. What the heck?
I'm fairly tall. I would say I'm definitely above average in terms of height. But I was oh, this is awesome. I get to meet Daryl. I mean, I was pretty sure I was going to meet you for Pro Worlds. Yep. So that was really cool. And I thought it was awesome that you got to record the round and then be able to post that on your YouTube channel. And then we were able to play around afterwards, albeit a very exhausting round.
She learned that it takes forever to record a round with one phone.
Well, especially with one phone. What I was saying is we need to figure out a way to do 2 phones, because otherwise it's also just it throws off my game too, because I'm okay, let me take the phone back from you. Let me give the phone back to you, and we'll it was definitely a lot to try to record 2 different people, 1 round, 1 phone.
If you guys get a chance, watch those 2 rounds. Her tournament round, really good. She threw some great shots, and I really wanted to record the other ladies, but I'm like this: if I don't know them, I don't ask ahead of time, I am not going to record them at all. I tried to actually keep it to where they weren't on at all, but sometimes they just happen to be in the way. But try to show respect to everybody, do everything the positive and do it the right way.
Probably a reasonable plan, but yeah, those were really fun, and even our because when I was in the moment of playing the round, like I had a good time with you, but I just felt like so drained and exhausted. So you feel that when you think, man, this isn't going to turn out that great, because of me, not because of you.
Well, definitely not because of me.
I was like, actually, that wasn't too bad. That was fun to watch.
And if you watch the round me and her played together, just hole 9 and the tree, and the tree makes a sound. Just saying.
Yeah, the tree with the face or the eye.
Yes.
Or the mouth, or whichever it is. Who knows? Who really knows?
I mean, I made sure I put a sound effect in for that. That was hilarious.
Yeah. So we ended with, you had a 6-0. So we only recorded 9 holes. Because at that point it was like, it's going to be dark before we're, if we're going to try to record every hole. So we did finish out the full 18. Daryl was at a 6 over and I was at a 3 over. So hasn't beaten me yet.
Here's the thing. I let you win because I was going to take that trophy home with me.
Yeah.
And if you watch hole 1, no, I think it's hole 2. She's like, no. So that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Oh, and Cracker Barrel with Daryl. So am I
Wait a
right?
minute.
And then Kristen, and then you referred to you think you'll keep her. Thank you. I don't know if you have that choice, but like anyway, we got to go to Cracker Barrel and we met our waitress. Her name was Kristen, and then later on he brings her up when I was making a putt, like what would Kristen think or something like that. And I thought
because you made a straddle putt just inside C1.
I called it a circle 2 putt though because it was a straddle putt. So I was like, if you're on the edge of circle 1 and you make a straddle putt, then that's pretty much a circle 2 putt. Just saying.
What would Kristen think?
To do a straddle putt for it. If your normal putt is a straddle putt, that doesn't count. But like if you have to do a straddle putt in a circle 2 putt, then that's different. So anyway, what did you say about Kristen?
I was like, what would Kristen? No, Kristen wouldn't think. No, I said, talk to Kristen about it. And you go, I will talk to Kristen.
We'll talk to Kristen about it. Like,
and I said, the waitress from Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
And by the way, hole 1.
Her name. It's
hole 1. Who made a C2 putt? Right out the gate.
This guy made a circle 2 putt. Yeah, he came out blazing, guns blazing. He was ready to go. He was like, let's go. Let's beat AceBabiee's.
Yeah, I didn't get to play that other cool course. I'm ready to play now.
I wouldn't let him, so. Anyway, so June 14th through 16th was Charlotte Amateur Championships. I already mentioned I drove 3+ hours round trip, 4 days in a row. Not a super fun drive, but my event average was 920. So 40 points above my average at the time, which was 880. Since has gone up 3 more points, so it's 883. So that's very exciting. My new highest rating. So that was I got first place, and it is my second A-tier win of the year, and got a really cool cedar box trophy. Is that in here? Actually, it's in here, so I'll show it. I will grab it. of it in this little baggie with a bunch of other random.
Mooglee says Cracker Barrel's so good. It is.
So got this from the AM Championship. So I have a really funny thing about this. Okay, so the players pack was pretty cool. Like, so it's a really cool hat, right? And have like a matching. Got this disc. Like everyone got this.
Ooh, I like that.
Very cool. And then you were able to pick different things. So I got the matching towel for it. I was like, super cool, right? Matches the hat. And then they also had a shirt option, and these were, you know, in bags. And so I was like, okay, I'll grab the shirt option if they have an extra small, because, you know, they're always co-gender. They never get almost never get women's sizes. And I looked at the shirt size, and look how huge it is.
Good Lord.
I think Andy could fit in this shirt, and it's an extra small.
That is not extra small.
It is huge. I
mean, I guess if Andre the Giant is a medium, then that's extra small.
Yeah, I was like, this is not extra small. Like, I mean, just take a look at your sizes maybe and let us know, hey, that shirt's not going to fit you.
Ladies and gents, Todd's power is back on.
Nice, yay.
Yes.
Then I also
got AC going.
This little pin thing, which is really cool.
Nice.
While throwing
the koozie.
And then this is you put your towel in it, so you can kind of just like stuff it in there and like pull it out.
Nice.
That's all that I got in the players pack, and then this is said trophy.
Yeah, I almost took that home with me.
And it has the state on it, and then
I didn't notice that. I noticed the front. I did not notice that on the back.
So it's like super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, it smells so good. I love the smell of cedar. So anyway, really, really cool trophy. They pretty much had the same thing or they had the same company make the trophies for U.S. Women's last year, but that's because they also had like the same people running it. So
I would say the first thing I did when I held that, I was like, oh, that smells so good.
It smells so good. I love the smell. And also, if we didn't mention it, so our practice round, we went to Reedy Creek. So that was also a new course. So that would have been my 201th first 201 different courses that I've played. So yeah.
Let's see. That was that was my 14th new one this year. I am up to 18 new courses this year.
Nice. How many altogether?
Oh, that I don't know. But I mean, my goal for this year is 25 new courses to me.
Nice. I don't know how many I've had this year, but it's been a decent number. And then you also bought one of these discs.
I did buy one of those discs,
but a signed one for the 1,000 subscriber giveaway.
And me and you, we're going to make a video shortly, and we're going to give that away.
So that's my other fundraiser disc.
There you go. Now you can actually see it. And yes, it is autographed.
Yes.
If the winner wants me to autograph it too, I would bet against that. And it is is it Taurus? Tursus? Is that what this is?
Probably a Tursus.
Trespass.
Okay, it's a trespass. That's right. It was the driver one. That's why I have a little bit more fading on the edges.
I don't know. I might keep it. No, I'm not.
So that's crazy. I'm surprised that I know we are getting closer to like an hour and a half, but still that's not too bad with how much we've had to go over. But I'm almost finished with all of my notes. Essentially, I'm up to like 104 on my bullet points of different things that I've done over the last month and a half. And we will still have another one before I head out. I'll be leaving, or hopefully anyway, that would be the plan. Be leaving next like Friday or Saturday probably to head to
that's a great idea. Pajama shirt.
Yeah, but that that shirt is for people to see it. That shirt is made to be seen.
And invite you sleep in the front yard and just have people run by and watch you sleep.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how that. We're not doing that, people.
And yeah, the skyline on the front is really cool. And by the way, Charlotte is just a great city. And if you get down there, I'm telling you, there are so many great courses.
Yeah.
I mean, let me just run over the ones I played really, really quick. I know it's just bear with me, please.
Yeah.
Okay, I play
my pickle.
Yeah, yes. Enjoy. Someone mentioned earlier, they said they heard that Hornet's Nest is really good. That's the first course I played when I got down there.
So I didn't play it, but I recorded. That'll be like the last thing I mentioned. I actually recorded my in the bag at Hornet's Nest. So
I loved it. I mean, there's a couple holes I'm like, man, these signs might be a little bit off, but I really enjoyed it. And for me, playing a course that I've seen like big tournaments played on, I watched the pros play. I'm like, it feels so cool to be able to walk those grounds where they played. Then Rinsky at Renaissance Park, that's a smaller course. Me and one of my friends played that. I did not record that because he's got a potty mouth. Kilbourne, when I first got to Kilbourne, my thought was, man, there's a lot of trash around this place. It looks terrible. Played the course, really enjoyed it. Good.
I played Kilbourne.
Huh?
I think I played Kilbourne as well.
It was wooded course, but I really enjoyed it. And as I was leaving, they had a cleanup crew up there cleaning up. So I guess they might have had an event there over that weekend, and that's why it was dirty and had a lot of trash around.
Yeah,
they were taking care of that. And then the last course was I watched you at Scrapyard. Oh my goodness, I want to play that course so bad.
That's pretty fun.
It looked great. We played Reedy. We talked about that. Phenomenal course. I really enjoyed it. And last, a little short beginner course, 9-hole at Veterans Park. I played that because I was really tired, and I was after I played Kilbourne. I was like, you know what? I know this is a little beginner course because a friend of mine was thinking about getting in around. So I was like, I'm gonna find the shortest, easiest course for him. So I was like, all right, I'm last one. I'm going to go ahead and play it. And for me, you saw me play. I was 2 under on that course, bogey free. So I'm like, another clean round to end it. And not only that, ended on my last hole in Charlotte, being a birdie on the way out of town. I was like, yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it ended well. Plus, got to meet my buddy over here.
Yeah.
So we had a great time and very much enjoyable. So yeah.
Yes. Here, fist bump.
Oh yeah, where'd you get? There you are. Yeah, fist bump. There you go. I went through the wall.
We can do it. Hopefully that's not right. Like, it doesn't look right on my side, but I just know that I need to go this direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like to wrap up the end of my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously if you have more, go ahead and share, and I'm sure there'll also be more time to share on like the next podcast. But so I finally am getting, like, I've tried to record an in the bag video so many different times and have done it. In fact, I even like posted a really old one on Instagram, I think a couple months back. But I would always have like different problems with it. I had a person in like Texas that had recorded everything for an in the bag and then just never did anything with it. I definitely had wanted in the bag videos, and even just to like show over time, okay, how my bag changes. And especially it changes a lot more for me than maybe some people, because I'm an open bag, so I can have, any disc I want. So there's a lot more options, which is a blessing and a curse. But anyway, so one of the things that we had talked about at the beginning of the season with Neptune Discs was doing an in the bag with them this year. And that was going to be like a big production we were going to, do it right, make a really good in the bag. And so Pruitt drove all the way down to Charlotte for that specifically. We had the day after the Charlotte AMs, that Monday, which was June 17th. That was, we pretty much had the whole day just to record a ton of content for my in the bag. And we probably recorded for like 4 hours, maybe something like that, 4 hours, 5 hours, something like that. Got a lot of really, really good shots and content. And Pruitt is going to be working on that. I know they had a lot of stuff to do with the squid and releasing the second run of the squid, which I actually threw a bunch today. I have the first run and the second run. And then the next thing up is like my, I forgot I hadn't even shown those yet. My discs, my stamp for this, it's going to be in every different disc design. So that's my stamp in the splash. So this is kind of what the splash looks like normal. This is the really beautiful rainbow stamp. And this is, it's copper actually color in this one, but there are other colors. But there are all the color combinations for both the putter plastic. So this is the Bass plastic, which is their base plastic. And it's going to be in the splash, which is the putter, in the pearl plastic as well, which is the same disc, just the more premium plastic. And then also in the Nautilus, which is their best disc, in my opinion, even though I probably use the splash more just because I putt with it all the time. And then the Marlin is their very flippy driver. And this stamp will be on all of those discs and should be coming out before too long. So keep your eyes open in order to support me and them some in getting my first disc. What was it that Mooglee Dyes said? I didn't see that.
By the way, that is the first time I have seen those too. And those look awesome.
Yeah, this is, yes, they definitely should have, they will have them in, they should have them in white. I'm pretty sure I asked for them in white. I think I was even thinking of you, Mike, specifically, Mooglee Dyes, when I got them. I was like, yeah, I definitely want to have some white ones, so, you could dye them. I'm pretty sure, but I'll have to check. If not, I'm sure we can get that fixed. And have them do some anyway. And I didn't drive all the way back from South Carolina to North Carolina that final day. I'd already done it 4 days in a row, and
thank you, James.
Exhausted. Yeah, bye. We will be wrapping this up soon too.
Yes.
I mean, we're already getting kind of late, but
yes.
The 5th day, I was like, I am way too exhausted to drive all the way back and then come back and get there early at Hornet's Nest to record the in the bag. So I did get a hotel room for that night and was able to stay, which was really amazing to not have to drive back and forth again. So, yeah, very, very excited for the in the bag. Be on the lookout for that. Hopefully it will be coming out before too long. And that's all I got.
That is Charlotte.
That is Charlotte.
Let's go to your discs. So we got those. If you want to support her, follow her over on Instagram. Oh, by the way, Mooglee, follow Mooglee on Instagram. He's been doing some videos of how he dyes discs and stuff. They come out amazing, by the way. So yeah, definitely check him out. And also, the minis.
I forgot. I haven't shown these to anyone.
No. We've talked about them, but this is the first time we're seeing them.
This is literally the first time anyone has seen them other than me, Andy, and and the person who made Shane Phillips is his name. It's Drink, Rinse, Repeat. So he does a lot of like growlers and things. So this is I forget. I asked him to tell me which to call it, whether it was ceramic or porcelain. Let me see if I have that in my notes real quick. But there are, so ceramic minis. So there are a lot of different designs. This is the coolest one. There are only a couple of this design, but they're all individual. There's like a lot of different colors, styles. It's like brown, but they all have my my stamp design on it. So
very cool.
I know there's some like blue ones in here too or somewhere, but anyway, those are super cool. So I will be selling these for he had kind of suggested like 35 a piece. I'm not sure probably what I'll do, but I can ship them. I have some things to ship them with, or if you see me in person, you can get them from me. But yeah, these are going to be on sale. I don't know if any of this design will be more of like the ones with the blue where it's completely covering, not like the zebra print. I think there's only like 2 of these altogether, maybe. But yeah, if you want to support me by buying one of these minis, that would be amazing. They are my fundraiser minis.
We're going to switch spots for a second because you can also get some pins. The Rebecca pins, we have silver and we have gold.
Yes.
So if you see her, you can also get pins as well. Again, Instagram, look her up on Instagram or Facebook. And if you see anything that you fancy, you know what? Get in touch with her and she will make it happen.
Exactly.
Or get in touch with me and I can send you over there. So, anything else?
Not that I can think of. That was really fun.
That was fun. A lot of fun.
Of my journey, and super thankful for everyone who joined in and commented and liked. And you all are awesome. Thank you for being here and for being.
Let's see. Thank you to Ty, James, Mooglee. Who else was in the chat today? I know there's some other people in here. Texas BBQ.
Anthony was there. Mark was there.
Charles.
Chuck.
Daryl was here.
Yep.
There's somebody else. Bug Studley won. There you go. That's just a fun name to say. But that's all we got. And you guys have an incredible day.